is Impact Business Radio IBR 92.5 FM right here in the city of Ibadan. And Rise and Shine is the program you're listening to if you're just joining us for the very first time, in and out, anywhere around the world. We say thank you for being there. My name is Olatunde Idowu.
And I'm Omodele Oyedeko.
Today on Rise and Shine, it's a day we will be looking at the aspect of real estate. We look at real estate, how viable it is to the economy of this great nation of ours called Nigeria. How viable is real estate to the economy? What are the challenges that could or that is presently facing real estate in this sector of this great nation, Nigeria? And we shall be discussing this morning with no other person but Mr. Olufemi Adeshokwe. He's a registered real estate surveyor and valuer, property consultant, and based here in Ibadan, Lagos, and doing his thing real good. Mr. Olufemi Adeshokwe, good morning to you there.
Good morning, Tunde.
And thank you for coming. I know that you had to travel and come back just to make sure that you are here. It's an honor. On behalf of the executive chairman, management, and staff of Impact, we say thank you once again for coming. Now, let's go into details because I know great people out there all over the world, all over Nigeria. They want to get to know what's real estate.
Well, thanks, Tunde. Good morning, listeners. Real estate is better explained in the words of the lawyers when they say real estate is everything on, under, over the land. But just to put it in a very simple form, I would say real estate is land and properties, land and buildings, the combination of them that are used for several purposes all across the world. The house that we live in, the school that we go to, that our children go to, the public buildings, the stadium, and all of those. These are real estate.
So now that we know what real estate is, so how would you characterize the Nigerian real estate market today?
It's a special one, particularly in the African scene, and even all over the world. The Nigerian market, it's a focus for everybody. Apart from South Africa, I think the Nigerian real estate market is the largest in Africa. In terms of size, it's projected to be about $13 billion, 2016. This actually it rose to that from about $9 billion at the close of 2014. The real estate outlook for 2016, there's a projection that the real estate market would be about 7.6% of the GDP of Nigeria. So it's a sizable thing. It's a big thing.
Now, looking at that, the GDP, looking at that size of 7.6, now, how viable has it been in the Nigerian economy? Has it worked well for us, or Nigerians have not taken real cognizance of this real estate?
The truth is that you can't separate real estate from the people and from the economy, because it's part and parcel of our life. You know, I talked about the houses that we live, the schools that we go, the stadium, the retail outlets, and all of those. It's a continuous thing. And if you look at the value chain from the man who speculates in land, the cement manufacturer, the distributor, the masons, the tilers, this is the value chain of real estate. So it's part and parcel of the economy. Yeah, if you talk of the challenges, at all sectors, it has its own specific challenges. Challenges of financing, for example, being able to come up with the creative financing to support real estate, because the truth is that real estate is capital intensive. It's unlike buying shares or doing some other little businesses. If you don't finish it, you don't get to use it. So you need to find ways to be able to make it a viable business if you are an operator there. Apart from that, also, the opportunity that real estate presents also manifest in the size of our population. As of today, census says we're about 170 million people. Again, that same statistics also says that about 17 million units are the deficit in terms of the housing units that have to be provided for this population. So if you look at that gap, it's a very major play area for the operators in real estate.
Okay, so now you talked about finance being a challenge to the real estate market. So what else would you say is a challenge aside finance?
Well, there are other, depending on the market, you know, in the general market, the Nigerian general market, there are also specific markets. But generally, some of the issues that are still there, it's also about land, the title to land, the time, the cost to get it, because most times nobody wants to finance a project that is running into millions of naira or dollar, and then you don't have valid title. Sometimes challenges also arise about title to land and the rest of things like that.
Right now, so looking at 2015, now 2016 is a new year. So by what percentage do you think the market can grow in 2016?
Yes, I've just told us that at the close of 2014, now that's using the 2015 period, the market was about 9.6 billion dollars. It's been projected that it will grow to about 13.6 billion dollars. So if you do a relational analysis of that, maybe that's about 30%. It's what's going to grow in 2016.
Now, aside the fact that yes, we've got finance and the land, which could be some of the challenges we have in this sector, how is it possible to differentiate between genuine real estate agents? Because everybody, before you know it, you see signboards outside the office, Olatunde Do, real estate consultant and everything. How can one be rest assured that truly I am dealing with a thorough and true real estate agent?
Well, that's a valid point you have made today. One of the challenges, again, of real estate is the proliferation of all these practitioners who just see it as an easy way to just get employed. And then, unfortunately, for the man who desires the advisory services, is not getting quality advice to go into that particular investment, and people get their hands burnt. Apart from just trying to promote my profession, to say, if you want to do real estate, go to a real estate practitioner or go to an estate surveyor and the rest of things like that. You also see that if we are sick, we go to the doctor. You know, if we need our children to get quality advice about their education, we'll look for a career counselor or a guidance counselor and things like that. So if we need to do our tax returns and all of those, you go to a lawyer, an accountant or a tax practitioner. And then if, God forbid, if you are in trouble, you go to a lawyer. I think people should start to look at it now that if I want to do real estate, it is important for me to get professional opinion. And who is best to do this but an estate surveyor or an investment manager, someone who has been involved in the practice of this particular thing. And they will be able to give you an overview of what is actually involved. You know, a lot of things will come into play, and right before you start, you have a fair idea of how the business will turn out. You know, well, there are also issues about not all plans come out the way we plan, but then that again gives you some form of assurance that you are doing it in the right manner, and you are going for success about it.
Okay, now we see new property development projects. We see that they're taking a real chunk of the real estate transactions in today's market. So what factors do you see driving this trend? Would you say it's the desire for property ownership or for investment?
It's both, really. Just a few moments ago, we talked about the gap in the housing supply. You know, a lot of the statistics says 17 million, but even that, my own personal opinion is that we still need to verify that. It could actually be more than that.
Or 70 million.
70 million
So-
housing units.
Housing unit. Oh, okay.
It's what Nigeria needs
Okay.
presently
Wow.
to be able to say
Yes, we're comfortable.
they were comfortable.
Okay.
But my own opinion is that if you even factor in, because this is the same figure we've been banding around for about 3-4 years now. So if you factor in population growth, if you factor in urban migration and all of those, you find out that even the figure, we need to validate it. The truth is that for that number, it's a big number, so that provides opportunity for people who wants to do investment in it, build, sell, provide the sites and services, and the rest of things like that. And then also for people who want to store value, real estate traditionally had been a way to storing value, an investment that you can always keep for the future. And if you, in the Yoruba parlance, you always, our fathers always telling you, always asking, have you bought a land? Have you commenced a project? It comes to the fact that over time, it's been realized that real estate is something that edges all these other problems with other forms of investments.
Let's look at the Nigerian economy, the Nigerian sectors. Solid minerals, different things that we could diversify. Is it possible that government at the top level can look into real estate and say, let's put money in here, and maybe this could generate money for the nation? Is it possible?
Well, it's possible. In fact, it's already in the pipeline. If you, the action plan that the Honorable Minister for Power, Housing and Works, it's putting in place now is to address infrastructure and real estate and housing. Again, I also know that part of the policy drive of government is to, in the current year, is to also energize the Nigerian Mortgage Refinancing Company, NMRFC, to be able to provide credit for operators and also provide loans for end users, so that at least, we talked about the challenge of financing as one of the key issues in real estate. So if Nigeria Mortgage Refinancing Corporation, for example, gets itself together this year and the government gives it a lot of support, that will stimulate a lot of activities in the sector.
All right, now looking at the past 5 years, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we didn't have real estate, we didn't have people into real estate. So what would you say has influenced people going into real estate in the last 5 years? We just see several people going into the business. What would you say has influenced this?
Well, a lot of things. Let's look, for example, at the retail sector, the shopping malls and the rest like that. Why the Nigerian operators were not seeing the opportunities? I think people from South Africa saw that there is a lot of opportunities in retail sector development in Nigeria, and you see the likes of ShopRite
And
so many of them
Yeah.
coming in, getting local developers, coming in with their own developers also to play actively in this area. You see activities in that. Even in the housing sector, there's a lot of activities because I also talked about the population growth, the deficit in the housing supply and all of those. So all these factors put together had stimulated activities in the real estate sector in the last 5 years. And again, if you also look at the pension operators and all these financial institutional lenders, statutorily they usually have some form of percentage of their cash reserves that are to be deployed into real estate. It's just to edge, you're putting some money in money markets, you're putting some money in equities and all of those. You need to balance your portfolio and also put some in real estate.
We are looking at the real estate in Nigeria. How viable is it to the economy of this great nation, Nigeria? And you can actually be a part of this program. You can call because we are actually discussing with an estate surveyor, a property consultant, and he's someone who is vast and he's really, really done well in real estate. We have Mr. Olufemi Adeshokwe in the house this morning, so you can channel your questions concerning real estate And if you want to do one or two things, you want to know about real estate, why don't you just avail yourself this opportunity this morning, and let's find out how you can go about it. Do we have a body that controls activities of the real estate? Of real estate managers? Let me just put
Well, there are two levels to it. The industry, in the industry, there is a kind of a group that works with government, on real estate matters and assist with policy formulation and the rest of things like that. And that's the Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria. I think they're headquartered in Abuja, and they have regional offices all about. It's like a group of people who participate in real estate coming together to share views, present positions to government, and the rest of things like that. But in terms of the professional practice, the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers is the body of those professionals who profess knowledge in real estate, particularly estate management, valuations, development appraisals, and the rest of things like that. And the body is regulated by the Estate Surveyors Valuation Registration Board of Nigeria, ESRA Board, which is a government statutory body that licenses surveyors and valuers to operate in Nigeria.
Oh, great.
Okay. Now, these regulatory bodies you have talked about, they also check, like, okay, you are a real estate person, you go into estate, you build houses and everything. Do these regulatory bodies actually go to those places to check, okay, what are they doing in these places? Are they just building houses and nobody's checking, and then in 5 years we see that everything is breaking down? Or do these regulatory bodies, do they actually check the works of real estate people?
We need to get it quite clear. The Estate Surveyor and Valuer Registration Board of Nigeria, their role is to license estate surveyors and valuers to practice estate management generally, estate surveying and all of those. But in terms of overseeing the real estate business, projects and the rest of things, usually the states in which the project is being developed, or implemented, would be the one giving approval for the project to go ahead. And usually they have their field officers who ensure that whatever they have approved for you in its execution, you are complying to it. That is beyond the real estate surveyors and all the rest.
All right. Now, let's look at a location like Ibadan. So where do you see the most movement in residential or commercial property? Like, where are investors actually seeing the highest returns, like in a place like Ibadan?
Well, Ibadan, it's I'm sorry to use this word, it's an uncharted market. The truth about it is, in Nigeria today, the most vibrant market is Lagos, and followed by Abuja, Port Harcourt, not in any particular order. It depends on these two other cities. They have their challenges at one point or the other. At a time, the Niger Delta insurgency and all of those was a threat in Port Harcourt. And most recently, you just find that even in Abuja, maybe due to the new policies the current government is trying to drive, you see a lot of properties coming onto the market for sale, and then there's like a kind of a glut. Why I say Ibadan is uncharted is that the way data is collated, the way and it's shared among professionals is not being structured. But so therefore, it's difficult to use statistics to say, okay, this is exactly what it is and all of those. But as an operator here, you would find out that in the GRAs, a lot of opportunities are coming. And you have a small bungalow there. People are pulling it down and erecting multi-units there. And a lot of, if you have structured it very well, you have gotten good finance to do it, and you are able to market. You are able to also take off-takers there and there. It's giving very good returns. Again, if you also want to look at challenges of the Ibadan market, comparing to all these other active markets I've told you about, you find out that off-taking in Ibadan is a bit tough. In Lagos, for example, you just draw the property, you draw the project is on plan, and people start to pay for it. in Ibadan, you need to finish the property because people start to pay for it. You know, these are things you need to look at. Then again, I think some people are taking advantage of the population, the size of the population of the city, and getting themselves involved in site and services. You know, and also factoring in the culture of the people. A lot of people here believe in slow and steady. Let me just do my thing at my time. So in the outlying region, the Egbeda area, outside the city, a lot of schemes are coming up. Site and services, people buy the land this year. Next year they do their foundation. The other year they do this and all of those. So by and large, it also underscores the fact that real estate is a very big thing. And at any point in time of any individual in his lifetime, you must think of real estate at one point or the other.
Really?
Yeah, you know, that's just the truth. So it's not, well, no matter how much it's going to cost you, you must think about it.
Now, I probably have the finance, and I want to put up an estate in Ibadan. The things I have to do, the surveyors, everybody, but I'm looking at how viable it will be to the economy of the state in which I am trying to put up an estate. Do I have to do anything with the government?
Oh, definitely, you have to. The first,
Aside if I bought my land, it's mine. The land is mine. I inherited it from my father, great grandfather. It's mine. I want to now put up an estate in there. What's the commercial benefit for a state? Not to talk about the large economy in Nigeria.
definitely, there will be a lot of impact on the economy of the state because you get a few people employed. Your procurement will be done here. It adds to the GDP of the state, if I can use that word, you know, because it's an economic activity, buy and sell. There will be transactions and the rest of things like that. But let me quickly correct an impression. You might not get government directly involved in your project, you know, since it's not a public partnership, a public-private partnership.
Okay.
But the truth is that we must understand that the valid title to the land, the government will usury. And so therefore, government has a way to control how developments are scattered in a particular location or city, you know, by zoning, by kind of agreeing that this area can only be used for commercial, this area can also be used for, you know, by all those building plan and codes and all the rest. And again, you also find that there's no way you can start any project without getting the agency of government in charge of planning to give you an approval to go, planning and development control to go ahead. So you are not going to say, I'm going to do it all on my own. Government must be aware what you are going to be doing.
Right. So now, let's look at policies. We had policies like the PENCOM Act of 2014 that encourage pension funds to invest in real estate and to encourage pensioners to also, you know, have real estate as their source of income. So do we still have such policies that encourage people to invest in real estate?
Yeah, with the PENCOM Act, it says yes, they can invest in real estate, but then it has to be, the structure must be well defined. They prefer the investment to go to a publicly quoted company, you know, or something they call a real estate investment trust. And the whole idea of this is just to protect the investor. I can come up today now and say, ABC Nigeria Limited, I have this project. It might not be easy for me to access that PENCOM financing, you know. I'm also aware that the CBN is trying to put up a retail support fund, you know, for people who wants to do retail malls and all of those to make them as competitive as the competitors coming up outside from the country to play with them here. So it's a continuous thing, you know. Government keeps reviewing and keeps listening to the operators to be able to assist them to perform better in the real estate space.
Okay. So now, how active would you say are mortgage banks and plans? How active would you say they are? Okay, as an individual, now let's say I want to go into real estate. I just want to get a house for myself. If I go to a mortgage bank today, would you say that they are very active in actually loaning money to people to purchase houses and land?
Well, they are active. I think one of the challenges is the documentation.
If we could just continue and continue so that he could, now that Model is interested, I think we'll talk after service.
No problem.
It's a pleasure to have you.
My pleasure too
And,
today.
once again, thank you for making it in here this morning.
Thank you very much too for taking me.
All right, I sincerely say a big thank you to you for being there with us as early as 5 a.m. today. Modele?
Yes, it's been an awesome time with you, right from 5 a.m. when we've been here. We talked about the health benefits of avocado, we brought you the newspaper review, and all sorts of things. We also had the AM sport with Enyola and Yoruba team, and it's time for us to go. But just before I go this morning, I just want you to know that today is another day to do something with your life. You don't have to be sad because things are not working out. You should keep hoping and keep believing that things will get better, and I'm sure with time it will keep getting better. So my name is Omodele Oyedeko, and do have a lovely day ahead.
To everybody that we have worked with this day, and the Felix Ogundiran Dayo Balogun Eniola Olaoye, and to you all out there, all over the world where you can hear us. We say a big thank you to you. My name is Olatunde Idowu. Join our colleagues again tomorrow. Ibrahim Shita and Okoyemi Ojabado. Till then, do have a splendid day. We'll leave you in the hands of Shayman, and it says better days.